The Lost World Jurassic Park is my favorite Jurassic movie, and surprisingly the only one from the franchise which does not have any official LEGO sets. I mean, technically I guess you could count the 1349 set from LEGO Studios, which is clearly inspired by the San Diego chase. However, it does not have any official Jurassic Park branding as far as I know, unlike the latter Jurassic Park 3 sets. So the point is, there are no proper The Lost World sets from LEGO. But we had a similar thing happening in Jurassic Park. There are only like 2 sets, the kitchen scene from 2018 and the T-Rex breakout from 2022. Only in 2023 did we get a proper wave of Jurassic Park sets for the movie's 30th anniversary. And I am hoping the same thing will happen for The Lost World in 2027. Hello everyone, Vrona Bros here, and let's take a look at my predictions for the Lost World sets that we'll hopefully get in 2027. And even though there are so many amazing moments and characters and dinosaurs to portray from this movie, the thing is, LEGO won't do all of them. I tried to keep my predictions somewhat realistic based on the existing waves of LEGO. I mean, Jurassic Park only got 5 sets in a wave, the Lost World will not get more. Frankly, we will be lucky to get just 1 Lost World set. And please keep in mind that those are just general ideas of what is the direction that LEGO might go in, not actual predictions that, oh, this is what they exactly must include in those sets. No, I think I want a bit too much LEGO from them. I suppose the first set would be a 4+ set, meaning we have very few pieces, so what I decided to do here is just base the whole thing around the Raptor. So what we have is sort of like Escape from Isla Sorna, the Raptor ambush. This set would include 1 Velociraptor, probably the new mold from Rebirth, because unfortunately it seems that the old one has gone extinct. And I'm using this one to showcase because I suppose the colors would be very similar to this Atrociraptor, because the Velociraptors in the Lost World had this very nice tiger, very orangish pattern. And while I guess it would be very nice to have, like 2 Velociraptors come in this set, I really don't think that will happen. I suppose there will be just 1 because, well, it's a LEGO. In terms of minifigures, I included Sarah Harding with her lucky backpack as well as a camera, and Ajay Sidhu. And I know they don't really appear together by the end of the movie, the climax, they escape from Isla Sorna, but let me explain why I put those 2 together. What I sort of tried to do here is squeeze 2 scenes into one set based on the presence of the Raptor. Basically, first, we have the long grass. I mean, I suppose a good question is if LEGO would be okay by putting, the long grass scene in a 4+ set, but they didn't really have any problem putting Muldoon and a Velociraptor in the same set, so I guess that would be fine. You see, I'm thinking the long grass would just be a simple side build where you can just put your Velociraptor and display it so that, you can hide in the long grass, and we can have AG telling everyone, do not go into the long grass! But, after the Raptor takes care of him, you can move the action with the Raptor to the InGen compound, where you can have Sarah Harding. So, maybe Sarah can go ahead and hide inside of the compound to hide from the Raptor. And when she's inside, she can also climb the ladder to go upstairs. And maybe she can catch onto the ladder and, swing from the ladder to kick the Raptor after it already gets into the compound. And then she can go even higher up to the roof. And then from the roof, oh no, the roof is slippery and she can slide down and be eaten by the Raptor. But oh wait, maybe she can just hang onto right here at the very last second and not get eaten by the Raptor. Just some basic play features, something like that. In terms of minifigures, I guess Kelly would be also a nice inclusion, possibly like in addition to those 2, or maybe, instead of Sarah. It really depends on what they want to do. I mean, she would make more sense to, swing from the ladder and like kick the Raptor. That would make a bit more sense. Or I guess if they, really wanted to go all out with the set, they could also try to include a small rescue helicopter and Nick Van Owen who calls for help. Something like that, probably something even smaller and more basic than what we got in Rebirth. Those are just, fun ideas, what else they might do. And like I said, in terms of dinosaurs, Like, instead of one Velociraptor, having two of them would be absolutely amazing. So, you can have some like action with like, one raptor being down here and the other one being up here, and them sliding down, and like, this would be great having two Velociraptors, but I really don't think that would happen. This is Lego that we are talking about, but there is a small solution that can work with all the Lost World sets almost. The Lost World sets would absolutely require a new mold, a Compsognathus, something very, very similar to the existing baby dino, just with a longer neck, but very similar in size. This is an absolute requirement, and it's just something that they could just, go ahead and just, sprinkle along almost all of the sets, just include one with every set or something like that. That would be absolutely amazing. And even though they don't really appear in any of those scenes, similar to like Aquilops in the Jurassic World Rebirth set, putting a small little Compy right here in addition to the Raptor, I suppose that would be a nice addition. Moving on from that set, but staying within the topic of Compies, how amazing would it be if we got a polybag with them? Because I really like when a wave of sets comes with a nice little polybag, and just a group of 3 Compies that would come with, I don't know, some small vegetation, as well as a log, and a Diet Stark minifigure, and just a bunch of blood. That would be ridiculous. That would never happen, but I feel like that would be just so amazingly ridiculous. Alright, the second set would be something maybe named The Hunt for the Pachycephalosaurus, based on the iconic scene of people hunting the dinosaurs on Isla Sorna. This set would include a new dinosaur, Pachycephalosaurus, which would be very similar to the Stygimoloch, just with a different head, albeit still similar to this dinosaur. They're both closely related, although yes, please don't reuse the same head, but just, make a new head, slightly different, maybe without the spikes here in the back, and, just give it a nice little lovely recolor. I guess worst case scenario, they could just, not give the spikes, but instead of spikes, I don't know, put something different, like, I don't know, very short spikes. It's really difficult to tell, although I hope that this body piece of basically the original Velociraptor body piece is not retired, because, first Dilophosaurus got shrunk, then Velociraptor got shrunk now. I hope we don't see that happen with more dinosaurs. I still hope this body piece is still something that Lego wants to use, but yes, Pachycephalosaurus is a dinosaur I am really waiting for. I suppose this set would come with 2 minifigures, and the ones that I decided to include here are, of course, Carter, as well as Dr. Robert Burke, who absolutely needs a new hair piece, a long hair that is combined with this cowboy hat. He is like my favorite character of this movie, after, of course, Sarah Harding and Ian Malcolm, I guess. Besides, the guy is a paleontologist. That's one of the coolest things you can be. So I think he deserves a new hairpiece. Oh yeah, and whatever set Dr. Burke comes in, it really needs to include a snake, doesn't it? I also think it would be fun to include like a small vegetation side build, for somewhere for the Pachycephalosaurus to stay in. However, the main focus of the set would obviously be the vehicle. One issue with this is that we come to the usual Jurassic Lego set thing, which is Carr and dinosaur. And I'm really tired of this combo that we get all the time in so many ways. Jurassic World Rebirth did an amazing job with mixing things up so much. That's why it's my favorite wave of Jurassic Lego sets so far. But the thing is that this Hummer Jeep is just so classic. I think everyone who watched The Lost World as a kid was just so impressed by this vehicle that would be able to catch dinosaurs, that I think not including it in the sets would be a huge mistake. In terms of action features, I guess, this vehicle should have those extendable seats that are able to, allow people to sit here and try to catch the dinosaur in front, as well as a cage for the dinosaur here in the back. This is actually a bit too small small to house the Pachycephalosaurus, but it's just a proof of concept, like I said, those aren't, exact predictions, although, I mean, technically it fits. But well, obviously what you want the most from this car is the ability to catch dinosaurs. So just like that, extend this, and then you can catch your Pachycephalosaurus. It would be nice if this play feature worked nicely so that you could also, easily retract this back towards the car. So it's just so fun and amazing to see it in the movie in action. I really think that is something essential to the Lost World sets. So even though the dinosaur and car combo is already almost a sickening combo, we have so many of them, I feel like the Lost World does it in such an amazing way with this Hummer catcher, as well as a new Pachycephalosaurus and also Dr. Burke, that I feel this would be on a wish list of many people and probably a very successful set and almost a necessity if you want to do a proper The Lost World Jurassic Park wave of sets. The third set is the second largest one, and it depicts the base of the hunters. I suppose the camp itself could consist of like 2 tents, a big one, a small one, and also some regional vegetation. I suppose there would be also some essential accessories like, a computer, like a camera so that you can, record some video footage, and an antenna so that you can transmit that video footage back to San Diego or wherever. And since LEGO really likes to put some small vehicle in a set like this, I feel like a motorbike would really do the job nicely. We also see some nice motorbikes during the hunt for the dinosaurs. And since this set is supposed to complement the other one with the Jeep, you would get minifigures like the main villain, Peter Ludlow, as well as the hunter, Roland, Tembo, and of course Dieter Stark. I feel like those would be a nice selection for a set like this. And also, perhaps Nick Van Owen. Because a set like this would have to come with some cages, where the dinosaurs have to be freed from those cages. And speaking of dinosaurs, Stegosaurus is the symbol of the Lost World for me, so not including it in any of the sets would be an absolute crime if you ask me, and I feel it would fit decently here, it's something that can trash the entire Basecamp basically, but firstly it can be just put somewhere in a cage. And also, since we are having Dieter Stark in the set, there is no way that they would not include a Compy. I mean, it just has to be included, at least a single one of them. And also, this is the Lost World. We need a new mold, we need a new animal, we need the Parasaurolophus. And that's why I feel like this may be a bit too much. I mean, there are so many dinosaurs you could put in this set, but if I had to limit myself, I guess those two is what I would go with. And ever since this mural came out in 2023, I am really waiting for a Parasaurolophus, and hopefully also a baby Parasaurolophus. But well, technically a baby Parasaurolophus doesn't make sense here. We didn't really see that in the Lost World. I mean, we did see baby Triceratops being held in cages here, as well as a baby Stegosaurus, and we really do need a baby Stegosaurus because we have a baby Stegosaurus made in LEGO, but so far it's only in Spider-Man colors. I am really waiting for a natural recolor, and actually that baby Stegosaurus is probably something that I am expecting to appear in those Lost World sets, for real. Oh yes, and including a Parasaurolophus would also require the set to come with some sort of a catching equipment that would allow us to recreate some of the most iconic scenes from the movie. Yeah, something like that, I guess. Anyway, a set like this seems like a really good opportunity to include new characters, a new Parasaurolophus, and also all of that with some great play features. I imagine set number 4 would be a rather small one, but depict the San Diego chase, which is essentially the finale of the entire movie. I'm not really sure if including a road plate is necessary, but I feel like this or some city buildings from San Diego would be a nice way to depict that the dinosaur, the T-Rex, is in a place where it really shouldn't be. And yes, this set should come with the T-Rex, Buck, the adult male greenish Tyrannosaurus, as well as Junior, the small Tyrannosaurus. I mean, I'm using the brownish one, but I suppose, yeah, it should be olive green, I guess. So this set would be very similar to the Jurassic World Rebirth set, which was very small but still contained the huge figure of the T-Rex. In terms of minifigures, we would finally get the two main characters, Ian Malcolm and Sarah Harding, in their San Diego outfits. And also, I feel it would be a nice inclusion to also have Peter Ludlow in a suit. Because even though the set would not have the SS Venture, the huge ship, it would be nice to have like a huge ship to transport the entire big T-Rex. But you can, stretch your imagination and still have Peter Ludlow and, end the movie in the proper way, the way that it should. And yes, of course, the main build of the set would be the convertible, the red, lovely car that Malcolm drives around San Diego. And yes, we again have the combo of dinosaur and car, but this car is so unique for the Jurassic franchise. I mean, you don't really see that on a dinosaur island, do you? So this is a unique chance to include a vehicle like this in one of these sets. So yeah, if LEGO do decide to make this into a set, I guess again, because Studios 1349 exists, this will certainly be among the most unique Jurassic sets because, I mean, it looks so different from all the other usual ones. And the final set, the most important, the most essential one. If we were getting just one set from the Lost World, it needs to be this one, the Lost World Jurassic Park RV. This set would contain your whole cast of main characters, meaning Dr. Ian Malcolm, Dr. Sarah Harding, Kelly with a frying pan, of course, as well as Nick Van Owen and Eddie Carr. And yes, it would have to include the baby T-Rex, which, I mean, I recently made a video in which I showcased, with the dinosaurs in the Lego video game, and there they had a dedicated baby Tyrannosaurus figure. I think this one is good enough because it's actually perfect to be held by a minifigure in hand. So I don't think a new mold for a baby T-Rex is necessary here. I think this one will do just nicely. And yeah, of course, we need the mom, we need Doe, we need the female T-Rex in this set. And yes, of course, the RV itself, one of the most amazing vehicles to ever exist. Would LEGO make it this large? I mean, look, this is Ian Malcolm in comparison, so this thing is huge. This is an old mock that I made a while ago. There is a specific video on the channel where I showcase all of it, but yes, essentially, it has, of course, a full-on interior in both compartments of the vehicle. You have doors that can open, you have bars along the windows so the dinosaur attacks cannot really happen. You have an extendable kitchen. You have the whole driver's area, then some seats with a table, as well as some nice accessories, whole map of the Las Cinco Muertes, some beds where you can sleep, and then you can move to the second compartment, where you can find the lab section, the kitchen, 1,000 switches, and the table to operate on the baby T-Rex. Oh yeah, and I forgot the fridge by the door. Oh yeah, did I mention the windows in the roof that you can actually see through? As well as the fact that you can actually open the back, and then you can just move the table so that you can put the baby T-Rex right here and operate on it just like in the movie. And if you have not seen the video where I showcase this beautiful thing, before you ask, yes, you absolutely can dangle it from the cliff, just like in the movie. Or if you want to, you can even go ahead and dangle it the other way around. Do whatever you want, it's a Lego. I have to say, over the years I have done a couple of mocks from the Jurassic franchise. I mean, there is the Biocentaur, the Jurassic World Mosasaurus, and the Jurassic Park the game Tylosaurus. And yes, even a 1-to-1 scale giant locust. I love the locusts from the Jurassic World Dominion. But yeah, this RV is something that I am absolutely happy about. I love the way this turned out. However, I still think there is some room for improvement. So I do hope that LEGO makes an official set with this vehicle, and then hopefully I can combine this mock with the official LEGO set and somehow make this better. The thing is, besides the RV, we also had 2 cars in the movie, and I think it would be nice to have like at least one in this set, you know, so that you could try and pull out the RV while it's hanging from the cliff. Although I suppose like hanging, like dangling this RV from the cliff is not really an intended play feature that LEGO would have, you know. They wouldn't want kids to like smash this whole build, I suppose. But yeah, this would be so expensive if it were a set. So I guess LEGO will just make a smaller version, I don't know. So like including a car or even 2 cars in this set, that's really unreasonable. I really don't know what to do about this, but I feel like including at least 1 car in addition to this would be the right choice somehow. Be it 1 car or 2 cars or 0 cars, I mean, as much as I would like to have 2 cars in addition to my own RV, I feel like the RV itself is the essential Lost World set, and I am really curious to see what LEGO gives us in 2027 in this regard. So yeah, these are my 5, or I guess 6 if you count the Polybag predictions for the Lost World sets in 2027, and I know I went way too overboard. I mean, compared to the Jurassic Park sets, this is way more. I mean, I'm essentially suggesting so many new things that there is no way LEGO will actually do them, but I think they might do something in this general direction, this rough idea. I mean, I am asking for 11 new characters and also some new variants in San Diego. Like, I think this is too much for LEGO to do. I mean, it shouldn't be for the price we are paying for LEGO, but they don't really do that, unfortunately. And dinosaurs? I mean, I tried to limit myself, so we only ended up with, you know, the T-Rex the baby T-Rex, essentially the baby dino, a Stegosaurus, and a Velociraptor, as well as some new molds, meaning Compys, a Pachycephalosaurus, and a Parasaurolophus. I feel like, you know, it seems like it's roughly reasonable, but I think it's too much, especially since Lost World, people generally don't love it as much as I do, so I don't really see that happening for real. But I feel like Compsognathus, Pachycephalosaurus, and Parasaurolophus are like essentials for the Lost World, really. And also, yeah, the baby Stego in natural recolor. I mean, I didn't put the Triceratops or Gallimimus in any of the sets, or except for dinosaurs. I mean, Pteranodon could also appear in one of the sets, even though it had a very brief cameo only. And a new mold I didn't really discuss as a possibility is the Mamenchisaurus, which, I mean, would be great, but unfortunately also those unmovable legs, you can't really even put a motorbike in between them, so there is that. But still, I mean, a new sauropod is always a good thing, right? But still, there are some amazing scenes that we are missing out on if you go with those 5 sets. Because, for example, I lumped the Stegosaurus together with Parasaurolophus, but Stegosaurus should have its own set. Like the encounter with Stegosaurus, where you would have the Stegosaurus, the baby Stegosaurus, a log, you know, some nice vegetation, some scenery. For example, it would be so amazing if we could have a redwood tree. The redwood trees are so amazing in the Lost World. And yeah, you can have the Sarah Harding and Nick Van Owen and get this classic scene, and maybe even throw in one of the green cars so that, you know, there is some place where you can just put one of them in a set. That would be amazing, but you know, LEGO won't make 10 Lost World sets just because I like the movie. And this, my dear viewer, is where you come in, because you people have some amazing ideas and suggestions in the comments, and I really want to hear your thoughts on how would you arrange those minifigures and dinosaurs and vehicles and scenery builds and everything. What else would you include? What do you want from the Lost World sets if they do hopefully come out in 2027? But until then, let's continue our discussion in the comments. But for now, thank you everyone so much for watching, and as always, have a nice day. You know, what I'm essentially doing right now while recording this whole video is playing with my Lego dinosaurs in my garden. I mean, how amazing is that? That's like every single kid's dream. And thanks to you, I can also earn a teeny tiny bit of money from doing that.
So you are fueling my Lego animation passion. So thank you so much for commenting, liking, subscribing and watching. Thank you.